So, just real fast. Normally, he's supposed to be lunging at me.
Yeah.
Hey, buddy.
Yeah, he's supposed to be lunging, zipping, biting.
He's supposed to be trying to bite.
Yeah, that's.
He's supposed to be going at other dogs.
Yeah, look at him.
And he's good?
Beautiful. That's what a change.
How long did it take?
3 minutes, basically.
Did we ever hurt him?
Not once.
Not once.
Not one.
Dog approaching on the kennel. No big deal. Dog comes down. Did I ever hurt your dog? Nope. Nope, not once. Yeah, back to second. Kennel reactivity resolved. 3 minutes.
So can you guys just give me a little recap of why you came here today?
We've been coming to see Anthony with different dogs from Common Sense for Animals for training issues for many years now. And with Jonas coming, we're just very excited to see what he had to say. We learned a lot, and obviously came a very long way today with Engels. Engels had some behavioral issues and really worked through a lot of stuff and issues.
And can you mention what Jonas did for him again? Because I think that was amazing.
Jonas offered lifetime training to anybody that would adopt Engels, which has made great progress today. I can't imagine what a lifetime of training would do for him.
Absolutely. All right. So can you just tell me why you came here today?
Sure. So I work with a couple of rescues. I work with the Sanctuary in Paxville and with a regional Cocker Spaniel rescue. And we quite often get dogs that come in and are reactive or need basic training. And because our dogs tend to be smaller and cuter, they get themselves into more problems. And they also get less opportunities. So a lot of times our dogs just automatically get put on the euthanasia list because, unlike pitties, you know, it's not expected, so automatically it gets like a proper age. And with him in particular, he has no recall, and he was a rescue from a backyard breeder in Ohio. And I just needed him to learn how to sit and stay.
And how did you feel about the training today?
Oh, it was awesome. Within the first half hour, I could walk away from him. He's never done that in his entire life. He's like doggy ADD. And so, you know, we were able to get him to sit and stay on the cot, and, you know, it's awesome.
Great. All right. Thank you.
Whenever we go.
All right. Can you tell me why you came here today?
Well, I came here today because Diamond is my foster dog, and she's young and very high energy, and she's highly intelligent, but she doesn't have focus, and I wanted to work on her with that and get some tips here.
And what did you feel you got out of today?
I got a calm dog that's around other people, around other dogs, and she's learning fast with the techniques that they have.
All right. Great.
Yeah, this guy here was a major issue. You know, we probably wouldn't have gotten adopted if Steve didn't step in. And his outlook on life, being that he had done that to not just one person, but a couple people there, wasn't working very well. So, and videos on how far Steve has gotten with this dog, it's pretty amazing. We're kind of trying to put a little documentary together where he wanted nothing to do with Steve. Like if you had him on the leash, he was kind of like this with Steve till this here. This takes time. And, you know, especially if you're foster and rescue, you know, you'll run into these dogs like this. And we're going to go over on how to help your situation when you get a dog like this that comes into foster. This event here is because we do not have the space like I have here for indoor play. But in the meantime, right now we have like 14 rescue dogs, shelter dogs at our facility that we basically do for free. You know, these dogs' lives are on the line, and we bring them in and train them for free. So people adopt them, and they go right into somebody's home. We're talking each board and trained dog that's there. Our board and train programs are $3,600. They're getting that with the tools donated. Up comes the train. So dogs freaking out for that. But yeah, so we do a lot of rescue and shelter. And you'll hear us talk about this stuff too, because some of you may have worked with Positive Only and force-free dog trainers. There's a major facility that just opened up around here. They're doing none of this. None. We have 14 dogs. They have 0. But in their same breath, they want to cause me death threats and make fun of my children on social media and all types of nonsense.
It's true.
And he gets the same stuff out in Texas.
It's true. It's purely positive mob mentality.
Yes. I literally had to take down my Facebook reviews from the death threats, the homophobic slurs to me. They know that one of my brothers is gay, and they made fun of me because of that. I had to take, because on Facebook you can't really have their reviews. You have to have them either up or you can take them off. This is Positive Only a force-free dog trainer language. This is what they do. So you have a major cyberbullying issue going on out there right now where people are committing suicide, and you have associations like the Association of Professional Dog Trainers who support their members cyberbullying and calling you that homophobic slur, the homophobic slurs that I get, and I get called even worse, a womanizer, all for just responding. They'll call me a womanizer because a female dog trainer calls me a bunch of names, and I'll say that's not true, and then they'll say, you're a womanizer. And they do a disservice to the people that are actually womanizers out there. You know, like I hope my daughter becomes president of the United States one day, you know? It's like, what are you, nuts?
You're also extremely good looking. So
Oh, thank you. The whole goal of life is to go around beat up people.
Did you introduce Jonas?
I haven't yet. I'm about to get to that point.
Don't.
Let me stop talking about myself. Because I'm used to doing this stuff on my own. But, you know, we are blessed right now to have Jonas Black here. He flew out from Texas on his own dime to come out here and do a seminar for dogs. All right, to help do this seminar. He's heavily involved in rescues and shelters. I'm going to let him take the floor here, and we'll get my dog back into the crate. But, you know, I'm very thankful that he came out here. So you don't find a lot of dog trainers out there that would fly out on their own dime and come out here and talk in front of you guys, help you with your dogs. So I really appreciate this.
It's funny, I walked in and the girl at the front was like, yes, homeless person, can I help you? And I was like, oh no, I'm here to teach. But in actuality, I'm not here to teach, I'm here to have a conversation. I'm a firm believer that when teaching occurs, the person who's speaking should be learning more than the person being spoken to. That's what would make me a good teacher in the long run. I'm here to learn from you, and I'm here to learn from you on how I can break through more to people who need to hear what I'm about to say. I'm coming out of the closet. I'm coming out of the closet legitimately in front of all of you guys. I used to be a pure positive dog trainer. I used to believe in nothing but telling a dog yes. I failed so many fucking dogs. And it's because I cared so much. It's because I wanted to make a difference in the right way. This is what we're taught in the mainstream. There's all this propaganda, this bullshit. Let me give you a little bit of my background. I was born in Germany. My family was gypsy. My family was annihilated during the Holocaust. The only person that made it was my grandfather. Today is my grandfather's 7 years, 7 or 8 years to the day that he passed. My grandfather is the biggest canine influencer in my life. And here I am speaking at my first seminar on the day that my grandfather passed away. Overcame the stutter, but during that time I was working at a zoo. And at that zoo, I studied underneath one of the greatest wolf conservationists in this country by the name of Steve Todd. Steve Todd let me work with Mexican gray wolves, timber wolves, and coyotes, and ringtail lemurs because I love lower primates. I learned a lot there. And after that, I decided to get into dog rescue, where I was exposed for the first time in my life to pure, positive, force-free dog training. After having studied wolf and canine behavior for the better part of my youth and teenage years, I converted to the peer-reviewed BS science of dog training that's known as pure positive and force-free. Because they have science behind them, right? It must be real. It must be real. They got science. It's peer-reviewed. You know what peer review is? It's a barrier to keep bad science out. Oh my God. So, just because it's a barrier to keep bad science out doesn't mean that no bad science gets it. There's a fundamental flaw in peer review, and that is that it is peer reviewed. People have flaws. With that in itself comes the self-funding of the studies. Pure positive dog training funds itself through the Mars Corporation. If you're not familiar with the Mars Corporation, they are heavily invested in pharmaceuticals all over this country, and 90% of veterinary clinics have investments from the Mars Corporation. The pharmaceutical aspect that they're invested in is euthanasia. They're the ones conducting the studies on pure positive behavioral changes. And since that crap has gotten into the mainstream, look at England. Look at England, for instance. 62% uptick in aggressive dog breed behavioral euthanasia since the public shelters can only use force-free approaches. 62%. Anthony,
That's true.
what's your rescue placement rating?
At the center, we haven't euthanized a dog for behavior issues going on 4 years.
Damn.
We have not euthanized a dog for behavior issues going on 4 years. I don't think there's any shelter in the United States right now with that rate. And our return rate for anything, dogs being returned back to the shelter, is less than 8%. The national average is over 50%. The ASPCA is at national average. Dog gets adopted out, return rate is 50%. The Center for Animal Health and Welfare is less than 8%. Why is that? Balanced dog training methods. And we're gonna explain to you what that actually is. So you leave here today knowing what balanced dog training is, and that will help you have a better understanding and better relationship with your dog, and help you have better relationships with fosters and rescues that you work with. Let you go back.
So I want to make this shorter before we talk about balanced dog training. When I had my baptism, I was in Johnson City in Texas, and I've always done rescue work. I think I was one of the only pure positive people who does rescue work, right? And I'm laying in a shelter in a piss and poo stained kennel of a little Malinois mix. And she's in the corner, and she's like anally excreting, she's scared shitless, and I'm laying there like an idiot. Laying there in the kennels and like this, you know. completely non-threatening. Every time the dog looks at me, I threw a treat, right? Now, what happened? There was a pile of treats that started to accumulate, and no progress was made. Y'all, I'm not joking. I'll give you the kennel number. I spent 48 hours at that kennel. 48 hours. Tossing treats. The dog just getting hit in the face with treats. Just going like, I don't know what to do. Guys, this old Texan man comes up behind me. And he goes, excuse my French. He goes, you're a fucking idiot. And I was like, excuse me, sir? He goes up with the slip lead, takes them out, puts it on a slip lead, and walks it out of the kennel. The dog opens up immediately, puts it in the damn yard. The dog's playing in 4 seconds. And I'm sitting there going, what the hell just happened? My science is failing me. Oh my God, my world is getting rocked. And then I came back down to earth. And I was like, wow, all this pretentious garbage that's coming about in the dog training world omits a huge variable. You know what it omits? Leadership, guidance, sharing of information. Cookie can't go up to other dogs and share her experience. I can't go in front of Cookie and be like, you don't have to be anxious, baby. If I could do that, I wouldn't be in business. I will happily not be in business if it meant that I could do that. Anthony and myself are in the business of putting ourselves out of business because we're trying to give you solutions. I don't want you to be recurring capital coming through my door. I want y'all to leave my program and go, wow, I have the solutions that I need. I am not a repeat customer business, unless you get a new dog. Give me your new dog.
It's the same thing here.
What's that?
It's the same thing here.
Isn't that true?
It's they literally part of like the positive only force-free program is they want you to continue to repeat, especially ones around here. The $175 an hour. Oh, well, we just went through your program. I'm charging $175 just for another follow. $175 for a follow. Ours is lifetime for free. Like,
Same.
you become a client of ours, that's it. We're
Same.
here for you.
We do a lifetime maintenance class every Saturday morning in different locations in Austin. For public access.
Yeah.
We have like 40 to 50 dogs in perfect formation, walking and going into auto sits. People coming up and going, how'd you get your dog to do that? And we go, prong collars. And they go, oh, that doesn't work. We're like, are you kidding? And I saw what could. Every time you touch your dog, you're giving that dog a reward. Think about that for a second. This is what I see all the time. I walk into clients' homes. It's a really good dog. You just have to sit down. Don't look at the dog for 15 minutes. You know, it's like, that's not a good dog, man. Like, that's not a good dog. But what are they doing the whole time? Stevie.
They're just sitting there petting it.
They're sitting there holding the leash.
Yep. Or
putting pressure. It's okay, Fido.
As he's growling at
That's how we teach apprehension. You want to know how you teach a dog to go see somebody take him down like that? That's what you do. You agitate. You agitate. You know,
People ask me all the time, goes, and then I'll say, I haven't pet my dog in 2 days. I literally have not pet my dog in 2 days. I have 7 of them. I haven't pet him in 2 days.
Yeah.
The problem is that we're trying to make a therapy dog out of every dog, and not every dog is a therapy dog, and not every, like what you're touching on, continually petting and emotionally giving, projecting yourself onto the dog is causing the aggression, and it's causing the issues with the dog.
Absolutely. Raising a dog from a young age is the best thing you can do. Puppies, you guys ready for this? I'm about to piss some people off. Is it okay, Anthony?
Yeah, go ahead.
Puppies are not for loving. Puppies are for teaching. Dogs are for loving. Puppies need to be taught.
I have one in my house right now. If you watch the way that, I'm raising, I would love to keep her. Jess says no. That would be number 8. But I'm constantly telling my kids, put the puppy down. Do not pick up the puppy.
Yeah.
And guess what? I've given that puppy the least amount of affection, and that puppy's attached to my hip. It knows that I'm the leader in the household.
And that's exactly where I'm going next. I made my work, everybody's probably like, he's got border collies. I do have a border collie, you alright? His name's Evil Knievel. He's the shit. He's lethal. I love him. Oh, he goes, yeah, the Belgian Malinois. Yeah, I do. Her name is Sparrow. But she's a mix. She's Mal Foxhound Husky. I'm a super diverse employer. I pay 37% above kennel manager salary. I have everything from a transgender male woman to a biracial woman. Everyone on my staff are super diverse. I take an incredible amount of pride in that. Do my best to absolutely be a responsible capitalist. And I do my absolute best to fight the good fight. I'm going to ask you guys to join the right side of dog training. And when you see the bully tactics happening from the other side, to stand up. Don't be silent. Don't worry about the internet drama. Just put your voice out there and say, I don't know. I once went to the seminar where I saw these guys speak, and they were making some pretty good points. I don't have to anybody engaged in the fight to the level that I have. I mean, it got to the point where somebody tried to attack me outside of my gym. Because people are afraid. Anyway, thank you so much. You're all extremely good looking.
To add to that, and I appreciate the support that you guys have given us, because I was very close to shutting down AFT dog training 5-6 months ago. I was just about to say the hell with this, because I really don't need to be doing this. Me and Jessica do well enough for ourselves. I can sit home and just do nothing. Really. I can just sit home, do nothing, hang out with my kids. I coach Little League. For Saucon Valley. I can do other things and spend my time doing other stuff. A few months ago, I had done a video showing, and I wasn't planning on keeping that dog trapped. I had a 3-legged dog. I just had tattooed my arm with a Terminator leg on him. But I did a video on how I calmed him in the crate. Because what happened was he was being sent to a transport to be killed. Somebody down south contacted me and said, could you save this dog? I contacted the center, because I can't legally do it, because I'm not a shelter. They pulled him, and I took this dog in for free. I showed on video how I calmed him using a 10 unit, when that remote collar is just a 10 unit. If you ever went to the hospital and had a 10 unit put on you, that's all a remote collar is for a dog. It's the same exact technology. I posted this video. I had Reisner Veterinarian Services, who loves to cyberbully balanced dog trainers. They're down on 611. She should feel ashamed of herself because she has about 23,000 followers. Not one single video on dog training. Not one. She posted it, and a bunch of local people that hate me anyway and our animal shelter at the center, it went viral. I had my kids being made fun of. I was actually to the point, I think I tagged Josh in a couple things. I was getting harassed so much, and I wasn't expecting anybody to come to my defense. It was just me fighting a one-man army against everybody else. I didn't have a lot of people coming to my defense at that point. And I was literally had to take down my reviews because of the homophobic slurs to me, and making fun of my children. And that was because of Reisner Vet. So if you ever have to go to Reisner Veterinary Services, do not use them. We don't even know if the person's a veterinarian. I looked into it from the Pennsylvania veterinarians. They emailed me back and told me she was not a veterinarian. So this stuff happens where somebody says that they're like a dentist or something and they never had the credentials. This happened at my own dental office. So be wary about this. Then what happened was, and I call out companies that like to cyberbully people and the children. The next place was called Let's Sweet Dog. They're around here too. I would stay away from this company as well. They like to cyberbully people on the internet, make fun of children, and almost 9 out of 10 of my customers that come through me have gone through them, and they have told them to euthanize their dog for barking. They have told them, this is in the forms filled out for me. This, unless the client is some kind of big conspiracy that all these clients are lying to. Yeah. Euthanize the dog for barking. Bring the dog back to a rescue shelter for barking. This is what they put in the form when they fill it out. So I would stay away from there too. Renee is, she doesn't like men for whatever reason. She continues to harass me. She has a website up against me. To cyberbully even more. So instead of AFT dog training, she's made up ATF dog training to cyberbully me and my family and my children even more. And this is very disheartening because we do a kids camp for dog training. So kids come to us during the summer and I show them how to become dog trainers. Some of them want to be police canine dogs. They have the possibility of when they grow up to be called homophobic slurs, to be called cyberbullied and all this stuff because of Renee at Let's Speak Dog and the rest of these people. So I get the word out that these companies do this. That's who does it. Since that has happened a few months ago, I've had support and love like you wouldn't believe because of you guys. People have come on and called me out or say something nasty, and you guys come and help to defend me. I appreciate that. Because without that, like you're saying, this coalition, there's only so much cyberbullying we can take.
We're being annihilated.
Yes, it's going, in the UK, people were getting death threats. I got death threats over that video. I had to go to the Nazareth police station and actually make a report. There was a guy saying he's coming to kick my ass. For what? Saving a fucking dog's life.
Tell him to come down.
About this.
Tell him to come down. Tell him to come down.
Yeah. Well, I said, come on. I looked at him. It was only about 5 foot tall.
Right now's a great time.
It's not bad, bro. I weigh 215 pounds. But at the same point, it's like, I think about the kids that I'm coaching and everything like that, and we're dealing with this on a daily basis. And if it's not being reported, the newspapers should be picking this stuff up. The cyberbullying and social media harassment from positive only and positive only supporters is so bad, it's literally putting balanced dog trainers out of business that are trying to start out because they'll shut them off immediately. Right?
Anthony,
the good fight?
We are number one. So my company is number one in Austin, Texas on all major review sites. We haven't gotten 1 ounce of publicity, even though we just pulled dogs from Thailand from the meat markets that we're rehabilitating. We imported dogs by the pound. I bought dogs by the pound. Brought them over for rehabilitation purposes. No one will pick up the story because of the tools that we use, because they're afraid of the pushback.
And it was highly upsetting to me. I'm not going to kid you, man. I was crying because I'm like, man, I really worked hard for giving people jobs like Zaya and Rosa and like all the people that work for me and Steve, and I'm going to shut down the training, not because we're not successful, but because I cannot have people making fun of my children on social media, making fun of my brother because he's gay. This shit is from Let's Speak Dog and Rising Veterinarian Services and Camp Papillon up there. They're the same thing. You volunteer up there. They do this. They have a coalition.
Camp Papillon?
Camp Papillon.
That's the worst thing I've ever heard.
They do the same stuff. I'm a board member and vice president of the Center for Animal Health and Welfare. They were allowing their volunteers and staff to cyberbully our director and give us bad reviews at the Center for Animal Health and Welfare. I kindly asked them and called them out, could you please not have this happen to our shelter? They told me, the president over there, I forgot her name, go fuck myself. So that means to me, she supports homophobic slurs, she supports cyberbullying, and she doesn't give a shit if they make fun of children. So this stuff, I would always be open to doing an interview with anybody about the cyberbullying going on out there in that world. Now, on the balanced side of dog training, I don't say a fucking thing to anybody. I don't go on their website. I don't give two shits about what they do. I really don't. The only way I'm able to get back at them now, because I've had enough of this stuff, is from support from you guys. And I've gone to the point where I pull up public records. It's public records, legally. There's people that work there have been prom collars bother them, but driving drunk through a school zone with a Schedule 1, a Schedule 2, a Schedule 3, and a Schedule 4 in their car through a school zone is okay. But they're allowed to work with dogs there, but wearing a prom collar is a problem. So this stuff here is what they don't want me to make public, and they've kind of left me alone. Because I'll pull these public records and I'll let people know who's handling your dog. Do you want that person handling your dog? Like they're all on these drugs like that? The other way to do that is I find out where they work. So, believe it or not, they're so ignorant and so dumb that they'll cyber harass me, and I'm a customer of Wells Fargo. And on the side, they work at Wells Fargo. So I'll screenshot them calling me, this is their words, queer, and I'll go to Wells Fargo and say, you have an employee there that's harassing a customer. This immediately gets the person fired, right? And I win, and they stop harassing me. So this is the only way to do it, because nobody else is talking about the social media harassment and cyberbullying that they're doing out there. Especially if you have kids, they'll make fun of your kids. And some of the stuff was pretty nasty.
Hey Anthony, let me chime in here with something.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people who are like, why don't y'all just, keep quiet and ignore them?
Yeah.
Well, here's the problem with that, is that we've been doing that for the last decade. We've been shutting up and being like, all right, we got the results, it's okay. And then Hawaii just tried to pass a ban on the tools that we use because we've been keeping quiet. That's why Anthony and I became like soulmates, because I made a video where I was like, we need to go more on the offensive. We have to start actually getting the information out there and stop being passive little wussies.
Yep. They literally banned the tools in the UK. That dog right there would have been killed already. That one right there. Just tell them right now.
Well, James Penrith actually...
And that one right there would have been euthanized.
James Penrith actually just got it reversed.
No, but I'm talking in the UK. UK, that dog's dead.
In Wales, yes.
This one's dead. One back there is dead. And think about that. Your own dogs. Right now, think about that. You're caring about your own dogs. If you're not speaking up about this shit right now and being proactive, this is being passed. In the UK, they passed the banning of these tools, and like he had brought up, the euthanization rates, you can Google this, have skyrocketed. They've never had this high, this much dogs being killed for the slightest little grab, and in the history of the UK.
Show you. Hi Amanda, thank you. Let me show you some stuff that Jonas is working on here. This dog here is from Common Sense, and it has unfortunately bitten a couple people here. Not here, but and the dog is literally coming at Jonas. Now, if the dog doesn't know you, it will try. So he's showing her a technique here to use so that he can get the dog out of the kennel without having a leash.
I'm gonna approach. He's gonna act like a fool.
See right here?
Acts like an asshole.
So he's growling. So now it came out.
Because now,
let's see if he goes back in. I have Fresh Pet up there too if you need it.
Good job.
Good. Back in there.
Because he has no structure on the wall. So now I'm going to approach again.
Much
Look at that
different.
tail start wagging.
Yeah, now the tail's wagging.
Look at that tail start wagging.
I wish I would have had this before because he was trying to lunge at the kennel to attack him. And now he's...
Because now his release is associated with me. He doesn't feel trapped by me anymore. He wasn't being an asshole. He's just like, I don't trust you. Get the fuck away from me. So again, let's go, buddy.
Jonas is one of the best. We're lucky to have a presence here. Like I said,
it's all what I did, right? So I don't validate his behavior by moving away.
yeah, bring it back. We're going to start working on
I
it
set
now.
myself up for success. Good job. He goes right into a sit. We can open this. Good job, buddy. And all of a sudden, he's totally fine. Come here, Goober.
Is this yours?
Come here, Goober. Back in. Good job. Good job, buddy.
Very good.
Now he's starting to enjoy himself. He's starting to open up. So, I'm going to walk away.
Went down to my mother's house one day on the way to work, and a woman said to me, "You know anybody wants the doctor?"
Hello, buddy.
No, not really.
Good job.
She said, "Oh, she wants to know." So
It's all.
I called Claudia.
No big deal.
Well, we have.
She's like 6, 7 years old. She came with a bunch of like puppies, and I wasn't planning on keeping her. I ended up keeping her. She knew nothing. Completely off on a leash. Friendly, but just a completely nothing. We're going to be going over some training techniques right now that you guys can work at home with your own dog or any foster or rescue dog. Right? So we're talking about the quadrants here. I'm using negative reinforcement. So I'm going to say, she knows this without me using this, so I'm just doing it for you guys. Place, pressure on, pressure's off, good. Now down, low pressure on the collar there, and you roar it immediately. Alright. We want her confidence. I get dogs like this that come into our classes. Me and Steve, remote collar, basic obedience. be in a place command for 2.5 hours. I'll leave the room, I'll go to the bathroom, go to the feel them. They all have confidence that they know that they're looking to me for guidance. They don't have to worry about this. This dog here is just fearful. Scared that pressure is too much for him to handle.
Absolutely.
So that's why he's doing it.
Absolutely.
Yep. So once the dog is on the placemat, I don't use any guidance or leash pressure unless if they're confused. So all I'm doing is teaching them our language with an action. You can name this spaghetti. Like I think.
I say that, dude. I say that exactly. I just say cheese pizza. Like I'm like, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. I think Will Ferrell's dog, his name is Spaghetti, and the other one's Meatball. Or something like that. So like, you can name this whatever you want. Some people do name it like bed or whatever, cot, spot. I name it place. I try to keep it as simple as possible. So in our training methods, we do place, sit, down, come, heel, and break. Break means that she can come off of it. Now I said it, and she's like looking at me, did you say break? Yeah, I did say break. Am I moving my hands like this too? Yeah, I am. Because I'm talking with my hands in the classes too. But if I say somebody's name, like I say Steve, and then Steve looks at me, what? So that's where we use their dog's name as a default focus with household pet training at least. So I don't actually teach the dog a focus command. I just use their name as their default focus. Right? Apple, break. So then she breaks. And she can get it. Her back legs are bothering her, so I don't actually require an automatic sit like she used to do when she would come to me. But if she does it, good. Scarlet and Cider, that's over there, I require an automatic sit all the time. Right? Barbara, you're going to try doing it.
What was that?
I would like you to try working Apple.
Sure.
I'd like you to see so that you get a handle of what we're talking about. So holding the leash is very important. Just like this. I like using leather leashes. Look at the dead weight there. Black, I don't want, if I'm using any communication to the dog, like as I explained before, it is the most minimal aversive communication I want with the dog. So I hold the leash like this, I just grab some leash, and just grab some more. Pressure's going to be on. You're going to say her name, you're going to say place. Right? So, Apple, yeah. So you're going to say your pressure like you are there.
Apple, place.
Yeah.
Perfect. It was actually perfect.
Good. Now down.
Down.
You get pressure from
Down.
there too with the collar. I want you to feel how tight that prong collar is. I like it nice and snug, just like my watch. Nice and snug. If it's too loose, that's where it could be hurting the dog, and it may not be communicating to your dog the best way that you could do. Right? Then you can say apple break. I would like, if you have a dog with you, to work with Apple here first,
yes,
so that you can get a handle on what a trained dog feels like. So who wants to give it a whirl? You want to try it? All right. So the pressure's going to be on, and you're going to go to Apple.
Apple place.
Good.
Apple down.
Very good, just like that. Yep. Good. Then, when your dog does this stuff, I give a reward. Right?
Anthony, one thing I'd like to say about when your dog goes into a down, try not to give a good reward while you're standing up, because that'll make your dog want to come up.
Yeah.
So make sure you're laying the reward on the placemat so they stay in that position.
Yes. Good point. Because if you're up here, then the dog's going to come back up. Right? This here, I like in my training style, and Jonas might do differently, but I like teaching it first with a martingale. And we go through this routine first.
Yeah.
It's going to be placed. And then I'm going to start dancing around the placemat using spatial pressure.
Totally.
Right? Same thing you do?
I just do a slip.
Yeah. You use slip lead.
I use
Same
slip
thing.
and slip.
Yep. So dancing around it until the dog I can actually drop the leash. If I'm able to go this far, I'll reward, say good, give them treats, step back again, and then release them. Then I'll move on to a prong collar. And then the prong collar pressure is going to be on, and I'm going to do the same thing. I want to see if I can walk away as far as I can, release them.
Perfect.
I can leave the building, come back in, she'll still do it.
It's almost like you know what you're doing, man.
He's been practicing.
The reason why I do it these two ways is these are the most aversive ways that I like to teach the dog this.
Totally.
Before going remote collar, because once you go remote collar, it's the least aversive.
Totally.
Than any tool that you have on your dogs right now.
Absolutely.
Is the least aversive dog training tool out there.
Can I cut in with something?
Yep.
So I'm not sure if you do it this way, but don't do like 2 seconds, 3 seconds, 4 seconds. Leave the dog in place. Do not train the dog on release based on a time interval.
Yep.
Like, don't just do it like, you know, our first 5 seconds and then 10 seconds and 15 seconds. Let the dog relax.
Yeah.
Let the dog relax. If that dog learns place, first try, good job. It happens more often than not.
More often than not, yep.
Like, give the, because
I like teaching the place with the down.
Totally.
Because then when we go with
Totally.
the down command, it's going to be...
you couple it. You couple it. You teach a down stay, you put the dog on place, and then at that point the dog will understand what you want from the dog. Do not train in intervals. It's the same with crate training, right? Crate training. Like, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. Put the dog in the damn crate and leave the dog in the crate.
Yeah.
The dog needs to be in the crate. And you know what? There's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, that's
The
perfect.
coffee's kicking in, y'all.
When we're training in our remote collar class, it's boring as hell. This is dog training.
Yeah.
People don't realize, they think it's a lot of fun and games. When we're training at our facility, anybody's going for a boarding trainer or progress sessions, it's quiet. It's boring. This is what we're doing.
The best thing you
There's
can
no talking.
The best thing you can teach your dog is to do nothing.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah, no, everyone, like, somebody would say, if I see a dog coming in, like that dog is having issues there, a sit is not going to help that dog.
No.
Giving a paw is not going to help that dog.
What do you
know
do?
what's going to help that dog? Like you just said, doing nothing.
Chill out, bro.
The dog needs to learn to do nothing. Some dogs don't know that, and that's what gets them into problems. It's too easy. Yeah. Very, very easy dog to work with. All right, I'm going to put her away. We're going to start working some dogs. Steve's going to go over a martingale. So this is the type of martingale that
Well,
we
actually,
like.
my question is, I see a lot of people have prongs in here. Does anyone not have a prong or a martingale on their dog? Okay, we'll put a martingale on, so it gets used to it. But basically, a martingale applies the same type of pressure as a prong does. So that's why we start with this. So they get used to the pressure and feel it. A prong actually applies less pressure than a martingale does, because it's only points instead of all in one place. So whoever doesn't have a prong or a martingale, we'll come around, we'll make sure everything's fitted right first before we start doing anything. All right? So.
Then I pay myself and my employees to sit there for 2 hours and show the new adopter. Most of the time, I donate the tools and everything along with it. So the tools are about $500 in itself that I give to the new adopters to adopting that dog. On top of that, I donate remote collar classes if they won't have remote collar. That's $1,100 value in itself. So they're getting a whole lot for adopting the dog for $300 or $400 from whatever rescue shelter that they're going to.
Good girl. Please sit. Sit.
Good.
Sit. Good girl. Down.
So they got to come around. There we go. I suppose they just started doing that. Okay. Good girl. All right.
All right, very cool. I'll see you when you get here.
So once he's in that down, we're gonna kind of now you so watch the leash pressure. Walk back around this way. I always watch the leash pressure, so we're going to come back in and down. So we go command. Right. And same thing. Walk around. Up. Go command. And we'll come back. And remind you, the repetitions, they say take a dog up to 1,000 repetitions to fully understand what we're asking them. So it may not just be 5 times that this is going to, the dog's going to pick it right up. It really depends on the dog's learning ability. You know? So this time I was just asking for a down and no petting after that. Just ask for a down. Yep. And we're going to go right through it again, place and then down. So at my house, all my dogs learn the same way. I bought a $2 cinder block at Home Depot. I put it right next to the placemat. I tethered the leash to the placemat so that it's easier for me to go over and grab the leash and put them back on place if they break command. Yeah. Okay. $2 cinder block at Home Depot or Lowe's, wherever you want to go. What you don't want to do is tether them to your nice dining room table and then they rip the leg off. Right? So, or you're, depending on the size of the dog, the radiator, and then you rip the radiator. So, it's just so that I can grab the leash and put them back on. Because at some point, we have to drop the leash. Right?
You've never known me to do that. Right. Why does this look like that?
This guy's name?
4. And we have one. Went to one of your classes.
Yes.
So we have that. So, but with the crowd here.
Which class did you go to?
He wasn't there, she was. So I took what he taught me, I brought it home.
Yeah.
He does have a sleep bed at.
And at
Did
home.
we do remote collar at all?
He wasn't here. No, neither one.
And at home alone, he does that fine. I mean, sometimes he'll break it, but we put him back in.
Cool. It's a distraction.
Yeah.
It's called proofing. So we want Yeah. So we want to proof it. Like we train Michael Bunny here back here. We want to put that. Well, those things I definitely want him to stay. I wouldn't expect the dog to stay in the place perfectly. But like these little minor things, just stay.
We do practice stuff. But here it might not be as smooth. Now can I hold the treat without giving it to him, like when it's my when we go up, because he'll probably listen to me even if I'm holding a treat. Oh, I could try it without it.
So, what I would do there is I wouldn't correct the down break, just get them to be acclimated to the play, right? So, what I would do there is
Yeah, we're going to use this one for a door. We'll use this one. I mean, for the how to use this one.
Okay.
Really doesn't matter size. All of my dogs do this. You should see the other ways that my dogs do.
Sit.
so sort. Sit. Down. Down. Down.
No, you can't. He'll eat it all.
Only the a treat is very important. So I'll hold the treat kind of over the palm. Sometimes I'll put it between my fingers, do my thumb. Make the duration of the down longer. So as you down, you really work the weight on it. Good down. And staying down lower. Now I feel the time to get more fluid. Put it here and say down, up, down.
You want to know what it's saying? Because we're not engaging.
Down.
Down. It's fucking weird, right?
Doesn't get a reward. Because you look in it. I'll let you go to the center about 5 seconds.
I wasn't in this position. You should usually say place and walk away. You want a full, you like the full. Okay. Because I added one.
I'll swap it out here. If any of you have this color on, I'll swap it out for free. So again, the way I'll open the tree is down. And then I'll go concentrate down.
Yeah, this week a little edge up on you guys. She's all around Amazon. Great.
Trying to keep it down. And what I was going to do is go shut down.
The teacher sit. Let me know sit.
He's good with sit.
Again, the way that I hold the tree is like that. Door. Sit. Sit. Then I'll use pressure from here. Sit. I'm walking around.
Okay.
You can get
So don't hurry. You say and look down, we get a natural down. Because we're not forcing the down.
Distracted.
For this dog, in this thing, we get so anxious. I wouldn't force it to
So watching you already.
So I wouldn't force him into a down because he's so riled up because it could be so challenging for him. So again, what I mean here, but I think if you start getting 4 passes on, and then let him relax naturally. Now he's going to start to get her brain to sit down because it doesn't overly stress him. Make sense?
I want to cut him right now.
Exactly right there.
Let him be.
You don't want to send him over because when they were earlier, protection can be punishment.
He's got better traits. Good. He's looking for what you're at.
So to work on proofing the distractions with him, because he's already got a good foundation with you guys, is I would get the cinder block out here or something that they can tether in here. And literally walk around, do jumping jacks, go in the backyard and put the placemat right there, tether him down, ride the bike around him, so get him to make sure that you really understand what a blaze is down there. That's like my dogs, they understand. I say it, I mean just do it. I don't want to ask twice, just like with my kids. My human children, I don't want to ask twice. I want to ask you the first time. I ask you for dishes the first time, kids, open in your room, do it the first time.
People walk by to get a tail wag.
Popping up again, you're just right back down.
Yeah, but
we don't want the dog to be.
this is just in the middle of training type of thing. Once a dog fully understands, like my dogs are, I don't want to ask twice. Like I'm going to get a little firmer on you. I ask.
Sir, he's extra pressure, and he gets right back on that side.
But that's like a lot of the problems. The coaches literally too. It's not so much the kids, it's the parents not following through with the process itself.
Doesn't have to be perfect all the time. We're not perfect either. It's not perfect. He needs to learn to cope right now. So that's the primary mechanism. Look.
So if I ask you to demand,
natural down now. You don't have to
You were asking before about.
Good shot. So no
I asked
petting,
for it now, that's all.
no petting, just let him walk. If he breaks place, push him back on your body.
Let's help this dog.
Good. And back up.
It's a distraction. This is where the creeping of
So here.
set it up on your
Back
house.
up to the wall.
Spending 15 minutes on your day.
So,
Food out for
Don't once he starts to sit underneath that station.
say,
The same with Bob, the same charge. Sir. Sit. And I release. This one. Sir. Down. Down. He's gonna lift this year down. He's not fighting it from. So you have to start to read him. When it's looking easy. So with him, now we get another. I don't know.
Yeah, but you
Great.
the only time I
place I could ever get him to come down is
can't be doing
right now. And the kids are walking and he saw rabbits and reached off and
He's just waiting for a treat. He's doing it.
It's like that
Yeah,
That's how I started.
Yeah, at home we can throw something and say wait. No. Four. Place. Down.
This is where I'm going to put the tree house behind me. I do it. All he knows is being that. You got a bullshit.
I like the fresh pets. I like giving to local companies out of Bethlehem, and it's pretty good food.
Yes. Good boy. Good boy. He's waiting for you to come back. He went down just because he saw you walking.
So technically, too, when you have your tree pal, you want to kind of have some your dogs are not focused because they don't
Good boy.
So
so they don't know where it's coming from, but it does come, and it's coming down.
So yeah.
Boy,
So
place.
here,
He's done with you. Place. Alright. Break. Come on.
So how is it excellent entering the crate? So it makes it
like a bowl coming out.
back up, back up. So you want to remove the space at that point. So
Good for that. The exit.
sometimes a little dirty. Once it's time for the event to come out,
We work on that. Whoa. Run through our stuff to run in. Now, so wait. say, okay, because he usually think bum rush in front door.
Yeah, so it's just because he started to associate you with release. If you never walk him, he never associates you with release.
So that's how you train your dogs. Have that threshold, really just
Great at our house is only when we're not home.
and then they come and they wait, like Scarlet Bear had that paper open, she was waiting for the
Yeah, so
that changes a lot. I usually use the term of waiting and kind of bringing Neville out of the I advocate in a lazy manner. The rest of the day is probably going to be a crazy day. So you're doing it's kind of like sending my kids off to school. They were all just like super type of day, getting more involved. So that way, like,
a reward the behavior of aggression during release.
loves everybody.
I want to bark if I want to engage, whatever it is. And then
He was saying, don't come near me, I don't know what the hell to do, I don't know what to make of you.
that's the better thing than having a dog that's like awesome.
He leaves everyone.
I still like today. I have my dogs with the Premier anxiety that comes out of there's famous dog trainer who dogs like to obey if they're centric. So if it's Furry, dog had your English changes, you'll look at right now, you'll see that's why you have attendants that first time I go down, I would their life is extremely
You're looking for help. That's how I like her that way.
So dogs are looking for it too. They literally bred to have a job.
So you can only release the dog.
You have a job. You see like Jonas like the border collies in action, and stuff. That's why I sometimes don't get any shit that high
Never underestimate so what I say, yeah, act like this, we go. It's the same thing as that's what I'm supposed to understand that the mailman has another mailbox to go to. The dog just sees the mailman leave. The dog I guess I'll back up. But I'll back up. Yeah. So, super smart dog.
Yeah.
Probably
Brothers out there have that?
shelters are this dog should be in a home. This dog should be living in a
Leave it.
All right.
This one's freaking out for you because he can't be overlooked.
in case it ever comes down to the city call.
It could have been.
Thank you
As long as you're monitoring, I really believe I have minimal toys in my house. My dogs, all of my dogs are together as a pack. That's a skill. Just don't take it off.
Funny, right? How you never know what's coming out of something.
I miss all new adopted dogs. I don't care what's in my house. People should start having a attitude in my house. We're going forward. My dog. We're going to do that social again. Actually, you are sitting on it. Boredom. That's like, sometimes it's a sign of affection.
They're all back. I would never disturb them. You want, but you want to know why? Because you're watching everything, so we're not holding it down. So we're not confirming the behavior. So if you understand your anxiety now, absolutely. So he's going to start putting on that pheromone. Now, in this type of situation, because you're not stressed, it's really important. So let this be the biggest lesson. You're so bad at him.
There's really no peace with people always use it as you can also be all of us need to. So you're saying that all of us do by my dog's response to me. If I'm hypervigilant, they go, that was to you. The week is late right now, goodbye. We had 16 dogs in the house, and she wasn't going around big boosting the dog. She would just like, if the dog did something bad, tap. She might even just tap the counter and say no.
You're doing this. You're doing it. That's the dog. You're doing it. Lisa, good job. Lisa.
She's nipping it. Woke up newspaper. Here, like you guys anymore. But my grandmother had a rolled up now we're on something. Make a voice. Disrupt the behavior and say no. I'm not a huge doctor. Like, I'm trained with Jeff Gallagher. You see the stuff that's going on with him right now with death threats. This about that dog. I don't know if you see anything going around. I was the one that yeah, I know. That's who he is. I've trained with him a few times, probably 6 times. I've sat here and trained in seminars. But that there, the timing of it, but if you knew the backstory about that dog, it's really first that lady is hospitalized and lady many times. The dog went to lunch and he took the bath towel until we got the dog. And he's on the front page of the United Kingdom's newspapers. Not the terrorists that are over there killing people. Jeff Gellman's on a bath towel throwing another dog. I mean, what he did was not the best thing in the world, but at the same time, my grandmother wasn't an animal because she had a TV dive. But again, he got kicked out of the IAC. Now, I'm a professional member of the house. I don't agree with him being
It
kicked out.
stops me staring at him for a second. I look away.
Yeah.
Would rather be given to people that are on their quality.
We're gonna ignore you.
No, he knows I don't want him to cry, so if I'm staring at him, he doesn't. The second I look away, he starts.
They won't get them out for but they'll remove the dice, he will remove checks for the
Yeah,
we're gonna make you walk.
What's this one's name?
Stein. Literally,
Millie.
alright, looking at it with the dog, ready to throw down. There's no reason, look at how he's like, there's no reason to look up.
She does this at home.
So if we were dog training, and this is how the boarding department dog training. That dog is here for the boarding training. And just straight out and in push out.
Down. It's for getting her to stay there. You can do it. We focus and she'll just stay there.
This is 15 minutes ago. Yeah, we're not even at the dog training. Every time she gets up, she gets up. We do it for 2 or 3 weeks.
Really?
Yeah, well, this whole just does everything. It's just a matter of this year is such a mental physical like release. Think of it as we're in our classroom. I'm just sad that I'm definitely tired. So metal prongs, metal prongs will stay higher up. Just like to understand. It's up to you. I have a bunch of my house, I have a dog sleep with me in the bed. They bring home, he's on the report card. You know, so as long as they're doing that, they get that privilege. They don't? If they're doing this right here, there's no sleeping on the bed.
Very respectful. They call them sir. All these other words for
Like I said, quite well at home.
So this is stressing the fuck out. We're gonna go.
So one reason why I like these my too, they can get mounted. She's trying to do mounting right now. I can see myself as being mounted, and I just plan on going out and but when you're doing it with the kind
Wow, that's amazing.
This is the other reason why I like
Oh, no.
That's why we're here.
Alright, so while we that's it. So this big guy won't come out? What do we have as a collar for him when it's not? Will she stay here on place?
She's great with my American Bulldog Mastiff, who's older and more mellow.
But it's the dog, other dog.
Yeah.
Have this big guy coming out.
Got your collar.
How big is
She's getting better. We have they probably will come out. He has down. Sometimes, how about it? She will sit down. We're working it. I've done that right? But it's not
Counter surgery. We had a whole
I use this as the dog. We use a station right care yard. But like if I saw that book, I also down. It's when that stair house. So here she's doing great. So it's when the fixation happens, most of the time we're just asking somebody to tell me their hands are like so, and it's also something great because cavemen and cavewomen over it. Now, all the guys are and now we have
When there's no other dogs around, he walks right by my side. But if he sees another dog, okay, that's when he starts pulling and trying to get the dog to play. That dog aggressive.
What's that? Oh, it's the catch. Also, like on the rear end. On the rear end, they tell them not to do it. But it's when that moment, no, I mean, that's that bond. Right. We were talking about this before, how shaker cans used to be a big thing in Costco. But it's also but again, you always throw the shaker cans and that's why there was more communication. There was a less look. I don't mind a curiosity. The look of it's the look
Suddenly put that in there once in a while. She can bring this only around. big mellow. She was go around the younger ones, Chris, and she is on them. She wants to play. When they
I'll work with you on it.
right now? Okay, here,
Started staring.
Diamond, sit down. So I did a little bit at a time. I literally if I give her a whole
See, now he's focused on that.
This is how I hold the tree.
Yep, I do that, yep.
So that's very important. Let's go. I borrow the dog. Or the. That one? This one? So here's the thing. So he starts to focus on other dogs. And he starts to Alright? So just be ready a minute. So we're going to just sit here a minute.
And I see, you know, when I drive by there, I
actually said I am
Rose up.
So mine at home worked for the first week, and then after that he just ignores it. The only thing he listens to is when I have a squirt bottle.
Okay.
If I do squirt, I don't even have to squirt him. Just the sound of the squirting bottle, I stop it. But I haven't taken that when I walk in.
Watch the floor. How'd it go? It did bother me. Doesn't? No. So basically, he's focusing on other dogs and staring down. So once he gets sitting like this, he just concentrates on the other dog.
Old dickhead.
Pretty much. So yeah, I see another dog, I'm just gonna go.
Just fucking stare him down. Yeah, like, that dog did not release the stare down, so that's gonna be some
That's
shit.
when you have that escalation right there.
So looking is okay, staring like is not.
If he looks and he goes, okay, I'm
No big deal.
It's no big deal. But if they start to do this, it's even joking. It's like,
Yeah, like I saw like I walked over. What I would do there is I would implement e-collar correction.
I want to show them what I'm going to do. Let me try. Try that on yourself right now. This is the level that I want to try to show. This is the vibrate. That's what's going to This is the level my daughter felt before. She was 3 years old. The dog's going to feel this level. My daughter felt it. This is there. You felt that now this is regular vibe, but this is the vibe. So I'm going to try to stop him on the vibrate.
Yeah, we have the pug and we have a toy poodle. Yep. The toy poodle and the pug are bonded, and when he tries to play the pug, next thing you know, the poodle's going after him trying to bite him.
but they're no better because what they do.
This is where
it could definitely be a game changer. It's just communication.
In the dog world, as soon as he wants to go do this, or if he can't find a dog like that, I would bite him. We're talking that correction is a lot more than what this is. So what we're looking for now is interrupts gives us rapid everything.
And then they come back and ask
I can't tell you how many times we've done this.
Oh, it's trying to
one of our phones, put it on Facebook, pop it up.
This right here is what I got. Mike.
Catch-22 here, right?
So that's when I have a low collar, I'm going to stop him right there. Boom. Yep. And it would have been the vibrate. He didn't like it. It would have stopped him.
Do you sell them here?
What?
Do you sell them here?
Yeah, we do that. I would rather you come to a class. Yeah. Because the issue with that is I'd rather you train on it so that you don't really know. So once you get training from it, that way you don't
What would you suggest? I have a thing in my hand. It's very protective. It's on my lap. It starts coming over and start growling at me. It starts playing with my fur. Attack me right now.
So make sure that whenever you're walking, that you just pop them back.
Just like anytime I sit down, I put on my lap. Away from him, away, put him
Come on, let's go for a walk.
We're break for lunch. I actually
Oh, we're here for the donation.
So there's a whole lot of stuff I like to go over. Oh, and there's some stuff Jonas goes over that I don't go over. We'll get him there. We'll get him there. Look at this little guy. So he's giving us the most trouble out of all these big dogs, huh?
I have a Pomeranian Chihuahua. Good. That's a little pressure there. Stay away from the big mouth. Alright, so we're going to break the line. And then we're going to get into doing some other stuff that is a lot more exciting to see some places.
Yeah, but like the real American people, you have to have that super square up.
This is
and all we had to do was remove tension.
With slip lead, it's.
Good job, buddy.
Place. Down. Sit. Sit. Good. Sit.
In what, 5 minutes, if that? You know, and it's little baby steps. The problem is people.
So what I did there was we just worked it out. She got locked up. She wasn't being stubborn. She's been locked up slippery, wasn't hearing it. So I changed the variables. We're out of it.
Down. 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 Girl, stay.
But that's who likes
Not at all. Sit. Down. Down. Good girl. Good girl. Down. Down. Make a mama proud.
She's gonna freak out if I see her.
This is my other dog, Slider. What? Again, he's a people person. He loves people. Food, this is one of these dogs where if you're training with food, it shuts off. They'll forget what he's learning and just concentrate on the food. So always keep that in mind when you're working with any dogs, especially in shelter and rescues. You'll have these dogs where they'll continue to take food, but they have no idea what you just taught them because they're just concentrating on the food that you're giving them. That's this guy. Right? He just turned a year old. He's actually a little behind on where I would like him to be at in training. It's my fault because I'm busy training everybody else's dogs.
So true.
It's kind of my mom who's on cleaning business. Her house is a disaster when everybody else is clean. I'm going to show you a couple of techniques here to get the dog to go into the crate. I won't use it with food right now. Whoa. Let's go here.
How can you tell if the dog is one of the ones you're talking about with the food? Like who just eats the food in
Yeah, he gets psychopath. Like losing it, not concentrating whatsoever. The focus on you is not there. It's more just looking at the food and waiting for the food and just like jittery as hell. Like her, she's picky with food and like I'll give her the food. Scarlet is food motivated, but her focus is on you, waiting for you to give her the treat. His focus, he doesn't care, just give her the food. I've worked with dogs that are worse than that. It's usually the red-nosed pitties, for whatever reason, that are mixed with a lab, are the ones that I have issues with that food motivation.
Lab is an abomination.
That combination is pretty crazy. So I'm going to show you, you're going to keep those great. I'm going to show you a technique in a rescue shelter that the dog, somebody in here also brought up about they're getting hate from positive law enforcement people about creating their dog, its cages and this and that. I bring this up because at one point or another, their dog will be in a crate. That is an absolute 100% fact. Their dog will end up going to the veterinarian, and the veterinarian is going to say, oh, we're going to put him in one of our bedroom suites, and they're going to ready to go. They're going to drag his ass or her ass into a crate and put him in there. the dog could self-mutilate itself from being stressed out because it's never been in the crate before, or the dog could have a heart attack and die. And guess whose fault it is? 100% the owner's fault because they were a moron for not putting the crate training the dog to begin with because they thought it was a cage, right? So it's very important.
Sorry. Just on another note, if you go to a vet, they can't get your dog into a crate, they will sedate your dog. Get your dog in a crate.
And there's a chance your dog could die from the sedation. Just like we can. You have to sign a bunch of stuff whenever you're getting sedated. Because there's a chance you can die from the sedation.
I love getting sedated.
Yeah.
Like just, just give me relief.
I've been here many times. Shoulder surgery. So here's a technique in case the dog doesn't go through the crate. You get the leash on the dog, and you can go to that side and pull the dog through the crate, right? And then you're able to get him in. When we're dealing with dogs that are aggressive, like you did it before. You left the leash on the crate on the dog, so now we can get the dog out of the crate without him trying to get to us. I have a slippy.
I see a lot of dog trainers make a rookie mistake 101 because a lot of dogs will develop barrier frustration inside of a boarding train environment very quickly, and they don't keep a leash on the dog. And then they're screwed. Like they've got no way to get the dog out. So what do they have to do? Bully tactics and bully techniques.
Yes.
So this way you're just preventing that from happening. Our goal is to prevent conflict. It's not to create conflict.
The other technique, you're a big slippy guy too. I am too. But he's more.
I just love being put on collars just in general. You know?
The thing is, force-free and positive only people will bash it. And they have no problem. Every time the dog goes to the vet.
Of course. You ever seen the force-free vet?
Yeah. The vet's not going to say, I'm going to accommodate my whole day around you because of the. So, this is a technique to get the leash or collar off the dog if you're not so much as a dog, which is a scary dog. You want to take the leash off because they end up chewing the leash and they can die from chewing it overnight. So, you take another leash and you clip it through the ring, right? Now I got two leashes on the dog. Great. So now when the dog is in the crate, I simply pull up on the leather leash and it comes off. Right? 100%. So again, all I did was take the leash, this was around his neck, with this ring, take another leash and clip it to it. So then, when I pull it, it just slips off. This is a technique a lot of rescues and shelters, especially I pulled it into common sense. Many times with dogs that had issue with putting your hands around your neck, they would bite you. This way we could take the leash off and they would not bite us again. Again, coming out of here, permission base. Great. Right. So here. And he is one of these submissive guys. Like, please don't yell at me. I never done anything to him. You know? But he is going to be my next dog. I'll be coming to Saukett Valley School District and doing career day as Apple is aging, unfortunately. And he'll probably be retiring soon. So. Yeah, well, she's done with training.
She looks miserable.
Well, she has a scratch on her eye. Her eye is turning, like, we just brought her to the vet.
Yeah, I don't know. I gotta bring her back on Tuesday, so.
So, Mason's gonna come over and help us. He's our future dog trainer. So you're gonna take this, and you're gonna hook it to the dead ring. So now we have two leashes on them, right? You open the crate door. You down crate. Good. We gonna shut the crate. You're gonna pull up on this one. Rip the flap on. Pull up on it, keep pulling up. Keep pulling up. Hold it off. Thanks, bud. A 7-year-old can do it. He's like, what about me? He's like, what about me? I'm the one that did it.
I think he just became my favorite dog. Like, no BS about social media, just doing it because he loves to do it.
Yeah, he loves it.
He just became my favorite dog.
I thought between him and my daughter, they're going to be better than I am.
They're going to be better than we are now. Because they're so intuitive.
Well, what's one of the apprentices that you just had out in LA? What's her name?
Kelly.
Yeah, she's rocking.
Yeah.
Right? And you want her to be better than you.
I do want her to be better than me.
Yeah, the same thing with me. Yeah, I want everyone to be, anybody I've ever trained that be better than me.
Have to be. Have to be.
Don't learn from my mistakes.
Absolutely.
So again, how do I teach him not to come out of you? Right? It's the crate door. If this door, and it's very simple. All right? It's, if you went to come out, boom, shut it. So when I usually go, right now I'm only doing this for you, but if he gave me contact, eye contact, I would release it. But everyone always asks me, how do my dogs listen to me so well? It's starting with this, right? And this is the formula. The crate is the formula. If your dog is growling at you, biting, lunging at people, doing any of these bad things, and they're sleeping in the bed with you, you are reinforcing that behavior. If the dog is acting like a nut, even though it's a friendly nut, you're reinforcing that behavior by having the dog sleep on the bed with you on the couch. My dogs sleep with us. We actually just bought an extension in my California king-size bed, so the dogs can sleep with us.
And nobody slept on it last night.
All right? So now it's not just a California king-size bed, it's a twin also at the bottom, so that all the dogs can sleep with us. But they're bringing home A's on the report card. So I'm not against that. I'm not a dog trainer that says dogs never get to sleep with their or go on the couch. If my dog ever growled at my kids when my kids wanted to go on the couch, they would have got a smack on their ass and they wouldn't be able to go on the couch again until they earned it. So all these things I'm showing you is a formula on how to get to that point. Now I have adopted all of my dogs. All of them have come with major severe issues. Little guy, I don't know if you know what he looks like, but he is a chow boxer. He's semi-feral. You know, they didn't know how I was going to get him out of the cage when he showed up at my house. He was trying to attack and kill everything. I ended up keeping him because he was such a hard case. But like, even him is remote collar trained, prong collar trained, knows how to do all of this. But if he was to growl at my kids or do it, he would not be sleeping on the couch, bed, any of that stuff. He's even earned privilege not to be crated anymore. So when I leave the house, there are dogs that are crated. He's crated, Scarlett's crated, because they're puppies, they chew shit. Yep. And little guy, semi-feral, when he was I was starting to give him a little privilege, or I got so much going on, I'm running around with the kids, I'm doing Little League, I'm doing this, and as soon as I thought, as I was driving away from my house, fuck, I left little guy out. I knew he chewed my couch, and he did, twice. So he was crated for the longest time until he earned that privilege back. All right? So, again, this, until he gets permission to come out, he won't come out of it. Sorry for break. Good. So I'm going to go put them back. I want to work on some dogs. They need to learn how to do this. All right? Come on. And don't put two dogs in the same crate unless they're like that. Whose dog has not been crated or needs help understanding the threshold of a crate?
The dog needs to be asleep. If I'm taking a client and they puppy biting, you know how we resolve it? More crating. Why? Because the dog's central nervous system is so overstimulated that the dog doesn't even know what to do anymore. Remember, they are developing and even a human child so much faster. We have to give them time to grow and to relax. It's the most important thing. You want a pet dog? Raise a pet dog. You want a calm dog? Raise a calm dog. Crate, crate, crate.
I always get questions like, oh, I don't want to leave my dog in a crate for 24 hours.
Oh, God.
It's like, I've gone out to concerts.
No. Down.
Will you monitor the water intake? Great question. And then they go back. We're going to the crate training.
And the only thing I was going to say about is don't let your dog out if he's anxious, barking, and carry on. Make sure he's calm before you let him out of the crate.
Exactly. That is so
If not,
true.
I can show you a video of my Malinois. I can show you what crazy he is in a crate.
So, we have a dog named Roxy from Peaceable Kingdom. That she was chosen through our shelter rescue program to pull her and save her. She had bitten 3 people at the shelter there. And I walk in, and the size of her crate was from that window here to this window. That was the space that she had to run around. So as the dog people were walking by, she was lunging and biting. Too much freedom caused that. So the proper crate size, perfect proper crate is a good idea. That's not a good idea.
Let me actually throw something there. So if the dog is lunging at people walking by, what does the dog think? The people are walking by, dog's in here, dog lunges. What does the dog think? Nailed it. So that way, it becomes a self-rewarding behavior. And the dog goes, oh shit, if I do that, they go away. That guy, right there, 2 minutes earlier, tried to bully me the fuck away from me. I was like, let's go, bro. Like, no big deal. He backed off. Once he backed off, I backed off. I released the spatial pressure. I opened the crate, he came right.
We'll post that video so you can see him in action do that, and what an amazing thing that was. I mean, that with the video evidence speaks for itself.
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't.
Sometimes
No, there's no peer-reviewed science. There's no science behind it. It just works. It just happens.
Yeah, so let's get the next, somebody wants to come in the crate. Roddy? I thought we had a You got the Roddy, I'll take a look. What's your name again? Star. Come on. Here, we'll bring Luca out. Which one? Star. Oh, we were going next. Let's go crate. Good girl. What a good girl. You've done well. So what I would do in this situation is I would throw food in there to get the dog to go in as well. As long as the technique I was showing you, if the dog was really pushy, I would throw food in there. After closing this here, I would throw food. As it shuts, I would throw food.
Quiet.
After I lock it, I would throw food. So the dog got rewarded like 4 or 5 times just like that. Now it's waiting for the dog to learn how to stay in it. So this is a good way to learn right here for that release command. I'm waiting for attention to me. So it's almost like, can I come out of here? Almost like that. Sit. Sit. Eye contact. sing Star? Star. 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 Let's go.
There you go.
As soon as the eye contact's there, release. Alright? Because what happens is sometimes the dog get nervous to give you the eye contact, but you also don't want them just like on cloud nine looking around and saying great.
Sure.
You want permission. My kids, I relate it to, you know, my saying is different species, same concept. So I taught my kids, if they see a park across the street, they can't just run across the street to go to the park. Look at me for permission, can I go to the park? Yes, you may. This is go away, go ahead, go to the park. Same thing with the dog here. But can I come out? Yes, you may.
Bye.
Nice, so Steve's gonna bring in the rod.
Hey, down.
Every foster, I mean, how many people foster in here and do the rescue? Wow, so every foster, rescue, and shelter should be working on this. I mean,
She does the tap dance thing.
Yeah, we're really excited.
Yeah, so excited to get out.
They're letting the dog out of the kennel at the right time.
I do that when I let her out, because I have a big fenced-in yard out my back door, so I make her sit and wait and be calm before I even open the door for her.
Good.
But the crate, it's like she'll just go in, lay down, chew a bone, whatever. She has access to it. She just goes in without a problem. When it's closed and coming out, she's like, phew.
So that's part of, like, for us in our human life, we have so much going on. It's like, I gotta sit here and do this crap right now with this dog at the crate. Yes. And you know what? You might have to do it for 1 week. Just take 1 week out of your life to do this. It'll be a game changer for the dog on their mental state of mind out of the crate too. All right? Don't start looking for guidance from you at all times. What do I do next? Tell me something to do because I don't know what to do in this situation. I got you. I'll help you make your decision. Dogs have, like I said, that famous dog quote. I forgot what dog book it's at that I was reading out of. Yep. Dogs like to obey. It gives them a sense of security. So that is what they're looking for is, tell me what to do next because I'm having a hard time on my own making this decision.
Exactly it. Exactly it.
He did good. So you can, whenever we do this in our group classes or any classes or boarding trainings, you can tell which owners are doing the homework or not.
They're proper.
So you should be doing it like this, right? So, very rarely do I get anybody not do the homework, but you know, you'll get somebody with a dog rushing out of the crate. If you had 1 week to do this for 15 minutes, the dog should not be doing it. So, where else does this relate to? The car.
Yeah.
The car ride. I ride around all these dogs in my car, not one peep. I'm listening to the radio, talking to one of you on the phone. The dogs are not barking. The dogs are also waiting to be released out of my car. I usually use the example of, like, if I was bringing my kids to go in the car, just because we get to the first stop sign when we pull out my driveway does not mean that they jump out of the car and think we're at Dorney Park. We are going to wait to get to Dorney Park before we get out of the car, and we're going to ask permission. Even when we get to Dorney Park, we got to pay somebody to get to the front of the parking, and we got to park the car. So the dog coming out of the car is also going to help. It's going to help with their state of mind if you give them the same permission-based training. That's the brother over there parking, right? So remote collar, even if they're together.
Totally avoidable sibling.
Yes.
It's not a thing that happens in nature. Littermate syndrome is not a natural thing. It's something that we cultivate by never taking the dogs apart from one another. So in this type of situation, I would recommend to a client, given the amount of dependency, this is toxic. What needs to happen is both of them need to go, or one of them at least needs to go to a 2-week board training.
By itself. So that is such a good point, especially when you're working with the two dogs. Remember, even them that feed off each other is working one dog at a time with each other so that they don't tag team when they're away. You notice, my dogs are sitting in there. I can take one or two of them out of there. You don't hear any barking, carrying on, whining. That's because they all have enough confidence in themselves. So they don't need the other one to do it. The reason why you're having that barking and whining and stuff is because they're lacking confidence. Yeah, so they're like, oh, where's the brother at? I mean, I don't know what to do with myself. I'm having a hard time making a decision. And then the other one might be making a bad decision to begin with. And they're both making a bad decision together.
Sounds like my teenager.
Yeah. So, who's next? Who wants to shoot a little dog? Want to try? You seem like comfortable in that crate. Yeah, you're
I think he's just fine.
You want to try this guy? The pug. That pug over here.
He looks pretty fun in the crate.
You got a pug that doesn't want to do anything.
I'll show you all the way. Here, we'll bring it.
I'll take control of the pug.
So this is my buddy who 3 hours ago tried to kill me through a crate. Yes? He wanted to murder me through a crate. This is the dog that they can't walk at the shelter. This is the dog that people are afraid of. This is the dog whose life is saved. Normally dogs.
Diamond? No. Quiet.
Look, we put him right in. New environment. No big deal. I'm able to encroach. Move away. I can move forward. Goes right into a sit. We're going to open this. We're going to get eye level with them. You're not handsome. Yes.
So here's a dog whose life is literally on the line. That dog, maybe.
We won't get euthanized. If he gets on the I'm fucking
if we, like situations like that, is what we book. Like if we raise enough money just to cover my employee costs, I can really fix things for some. We're at a point where I can't have there are we're full. But I don't want to see the dog go down. When Jonas was showing me that the dog could train. Alright? It's a sad part, like there are hurts, it's like decision making. Like I said, we're booked with 14 rescue and boarding trainings right now on top of my regular clients. But you got the positive only force places around here that don't have one damn rescue dog in their facility.
If any of you guys, any one of y'all, know anybody wants to adopt that dog, mark my words. If he gets adopted, I will fly back out here. I will give that person a 1-week reverse border training for free.
Look at that.
I'll cover all my shit. That dog does not need to get euthanized, period. I always put my money where my mouth is. Ask my trainers. I'm here today for this reason. This dog went from dog reactive, people biting, couldn't sit, couldn't do plays, couldn't be let out of the crate. In 2 hours, this dog comes out and is basically cracking us omelets. That's
It's like, give me my next directive, please. I'm ready to do something.
I'm serious. Whoever adopts this guy gets free training for life.
Look at that. Spread the word. So share this event and somebody might get adopted. Alright, this cute guy is Oscar. Walks into the crate. I don't know if Oscar knows what he's doing here, but he thinks he walked in. He's doing great. Man, this is a... Where's Just always has something.
No, don't eat it.
So. So right here, this is where we're going to go. Now this size crate is too big for Austin. Right? I'm going to bring that up here now. The proper size crate that you have there.
We do not. I'm sorry.
He looks pretty content now, man.
This is awesome. This is like amazing. So I'm going to trade secrets for that. Here's a couple things. Some people think that just putting a toy in there. This is what I think about this tree. Yeah, I just did that now. Now let me out of here.
He's like, oh, there's pee in here.
Oh man! All right, I'll let him out in a minute. This is one thing about crate training is watching your giving the dog like tongs or bones or toys. One of my good friends gave his dog a pig ear, a boxer, and walked away. And 45 minutes later, his dog was dead. So choked on the pig ear and died. So that's why it's imperative when you're putting something in the crate with the dog and you're watching what they have. All right. Not too long ago at the shelter, Jessica might have been the K9 manager when this happened, but the dog ate the Kong with the peanut butter. What was his name? Harley? Did he? There's a big Kong with peanut butter at the center. They put it in there at night. He ate that entire Kong.
There you go.
They didn't know what they were going to He lived, luckily, but it was about $8,000 worth of surgery. So that's why you can't just put food in there and pray that the dog will be good for the crate too. So that's where like the whining and stuff. For me, there is some natural herbal stuff that you can give them that will calm them down. There's CBD oil now that you use for dogs. But for me, a lot of it's behavior, and I would use low-level remote power communication to stop the whining.
Quiet.
Just like I did with Trey.
Please.
How to come out of the crate.
Please. Please.
So you see he's starting to learn. It's like the first time was a little bit more harsh. Second time I said, he's starting to understand this here. There's another token. Eye contact. Great. So you do that. You do that training with it. Every 10 minutes a day, you have a dog that doesn't look like one. Okay. Anything different than anybody else want to try?
Can we try Diamond?
Yes. Let me get a different crate though. Oscar is very proud of that.
I think all we gotta do is take the blanket out.
Oscar is like,
Yeah, she don't care about the speed. This is what she does. Sit. 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 Sit.
I did. You got a good dog.
several times. Three times. Why are you there?
I'm at the center all the time.
There's too much heartache there, too much bad stuff and not enough good stuff for men. Good stuff happening.
Y'all should. He's the only one running out really
Every night that they were home. Just too much.
Well, once I get enough hours, I start getting overtime.
Yeah.
Not too bad. No. They're out there, but not too bad.
Yep.
This is what's cool with these little collars too. This one goes up to a half a mile. Instantly, I can see where my dogs are in the yard by a push of a button from a half mile away. Now, some of the other collars we work with, like Garmin and Dog Truck, they go up to 9 miles. They're hooked up to a GPS system. Yeah. We like to go as low as possible so that you don't even feel it. Lower than any of the rules that you have on your What happens is, like, people that use remote collars really should go for professional dog training. Right. It's not rocket science, but if you don't know exactly what they're doing, I think somebody might stop the shit out of it. That's not the right way to
That's why it gets such a bad because they think that they're
yeah, we've been like that for years.
So I think we're gradually coalescing.
We used to many educators.
Right there, maybe. I'm just gonna go one more. This is a 5. This is what I'm training my dog on. This is the vibrator. That's what I call dog. So what I did right now is I was just scrolling through and I was looking to find her where she feels the same. You should feel vibrator. That's a correct stuff that I can. This is a 5. Because as soon as she felt it, that's where she feels it. Okay. So now I'm vibrating.
I wanted to ask you.
So now I can ask her to do things.
I'm not a huge fan of that.
But I want to know. When I feel it on a sheet, this one feels like a little.
This is what training level we work at.
Good.
So let me try. Let me feel this.
Put it on your wrist. That's what I did.
This is an E.
Come back.
This is where Garmin starts. This is why I don't use Garmin in a lot of pet households.
I can find the time.
What I'm doing.
This is
I'm like so scared.
This is where I
And who are
use
you?
the
I'm sorry.
correction.
I'm Dave.
Milo John.
Hi, Dave. Nice to meet you.
So that little,
What I'm doing is
Yeah.
applying pressure.
Well, we're gonna work on that.
Yeah,
At least
I'm
she
right there.
doesn't
That little
understand.
bit is 1 year less than
She used to be around all the time.
As soon as she sits there, release the pressure.
This is where
my little dog
Garmin
that I showed
starts.
you.
I'm usually
They,
doing
they're my
This is why I don't use Garmin for pets because
Keep these guys
it's
I can come do it.
This is the vibrate, and I will stop the dog from going no, that's like pet safe. Yeah, this might be pet safe. This goes like 100 feet. It's just these are waterproof. This is where
This is e-collar technology. I'm a preferred dealer with them. I literally put it on my back because it's just
I'm like, I'll give her a shot.
so this is what we're doing.
I just sat there for a couple of days. They got her up in here. I didn't vibrate for a couple of days. Next thing you know, I have her out there for 10 They're not stuck. They don't want to be in
They don't want to invest.
Normal training, like pace plans, whatever. Now she's eating, but I still do it. Familiar with it. You didn't even feel it.
So the dog had been on for about a couple months. That's when
and that's the last tip I got. It's just $150 just to walk into the now has a foot thing. Oh my God. Just in the beginning. That was $480 and then he's on that's $200. Whatever.
I have a 14-year-old golden, which is unknown for a golden.
Yeah, it's starting to get quicker now.
Where they get cancer. So
I know, just focused on you.
Have all seniors right now. Probably being more live.
Closers at the house. 2 of them.
And I have pity and black mouse.
Struggles of that.
Well, the bigger dogs have fancy sales to call it the cancer.
Anybody buys any from us today, I will sell them to you for $150. I'll call anybody, I'll leave my license. But they're $200 in low collars.
Cheap out.
No, they have a micro. Which, they only go from third of mile. Of course,
It's like gone.
Like, you know,
I took my dog they learned placement so that he knew all that was going
Right now, I'm scrolling on the remote, trying to just to get her.
common sense shelter.
You can say
But you just want her to calm down. The other thing is you just kind of wait her out.
Have a balance all the time. Talking about my dog is tens of thousands of dollars. It is what it is. Well, this one, because we don't have any in our area, they'll let me bring my dog to the vet. But like for the foot, I wonder what the name of it is. And they'll use whoever as long as they send in you can't put your name out and say, okay, what's a discount? She was supposed to be speaking to me, and that was her. So they said they
Palmer, right? You just gotta wait her out.
That doesn't sound so bad. You've heard me say, hey, bad,
I like a dude named Eric.
Right.
Right. Oh, wonderful.
Special ed teacher, for instance, going to college. Smart. She left.
Before that, I did not carpet.
It's still the place to be.
I know.
I told her, she was asking how hard it was. Like, some days I want to quit, some days I like it. She's like, there's so much going on.
Stop me before we get there and go.
Well, it sounds like y'all. It sounds like. I mean, you're more than welcome down. My neck of the woods anytime I come over. Come on down. But coming up here, I think you guys need more here than it looks like we need down in Texas. No, why don't we know what? We'll get rid of it. We'll meet them out. You know we do. Yeah. Why don't we do this one more time before David comes out? And we blow it up. And then
Before we end this, I want to be able to do, if anybody's struggling with their dog on walk bys, meaning you're walking down the street and your dog loses their shit because they see another dog around you. Does anybody have Hunter, right? Yeah. Anybody else have that issue? Okay. So we are going to do a free walk by. Alright? I'm going to bring my dogs out and we're going to walk by them. They're trained not to react. So I'm hoping your dog doesn't react. That's the whole goal. Alright? But if they do react, that's where we lay in the positive punishment and tell them that's unacceptable because they already know how to walk on a leash if they're walking on short lines. It's a behavioral thing. They've never been taught not to do that. Sometimes it's more of the offensive, but I got to see it. If it's more out of the fear, I have to see that too. But most of the time, by telling them don't do that anymore, the dog doesn't do it anymore. Right? So a lot of it has to do with relationship. My dogs fully trust me. That's why they don't react. They have full trust that I know I train them. They know an off-leash heel and they know a heel on-leash. But you know what? They know not to act out because they know with them and that I'm here to help them make any decision for them. There's no insecurity. Usually if a dog is acting out on a leash, there's some insecurities because they feel like they need help making their own decision. And that's where you guys come in. That's where we can help you, show you what to do from there. So let's I'll grab one of my dogs. Let me see here. We'll do some walk bys. Okay.
I'm going to need a collar protection.
Collar? All right. Here. Has he's been on a prong collar before? No. You wanna acclimate me? Yeah. I'll grab one of my dogs. This guy, I think he's gonna be alright, man. Let me grab my dog.
You've been on one before? No. No.
You want to take cider?
He looked at me and goes, fucking sleep,
Good.
All right.
Can I come back so I can get you? Hang up on Stacy so I come back.
So the default side of walking the dog is on the left side. I actually train my dogs to walk on both sides because depending on my back hurts and I might have to walk with it, believe it or not, a cane sometimes. If they want to do more surgery on my back, I'm just putting it off. So I teach my dogs to walk on both sides. But the default side in the dog training world is on the left. So,
do you want to know why?
I know why, but I'll let you explain why.
Because you can bring the gun out on the right side. Welcome to Texas.
Yeah. That's an awesome thing.
So sometimes the dog reacts right here because of the enclosing spatial pressure. But, see, might be loading, but he didn't. Yep. So what happened was his mouth closed at the very second there, and that's why Jonas gave him a pop right there. Mouth open, okay, he was just curious. Then he was loading up.
Yep.
All right.
We catch it there.
Yep. So we'll do that again.
You see that time? You see what he did? He moved towards the dog, goes, okay, I won't do it. Now, normally I'll correct that because the thought of reacting should be corrected. If he gets away with that too many times, he'll slip back into reactivity. So it's one of those things where like, oh, I'm making progress with the dog, we have to remove our ego. So we say, oh, the dog corrected himself. In actuality, no, the dog didn't. The dog was just avoiding the consequence. That's all. The behavior shouldn't even be there. I'm talking complete behavior elimination, not, well, it's like my grandma. The analogy is this. I used to walk up to the iron when I was a kid, because I'm sure you can tell that I was a little shit. And I go to the iron and like, and like touch it and move my hand real quick, touch it and move my hand real quick. And my grandma was like, one day I'm gonna take that hand and I'm gonna press it against the iron. So like, stop doing that. And one day she did, and never did it again.
Lesson learned.
In fact, to this day when I see an iron.
Learn, self-learning.
Is that apple?
Yes.
Bring apple.
This is her here. Full self-food.
Go ahead and bring it by you.
Here we go. Slightly, but he wasn't as much that time.
I'm going to let it go. Looking is okay. Mouth opened up, you start to get a coping of the situation.
Let's try it from a different angle here.
Sure, it's a whole different context.
Yep. Again, she's not an eye contact dog. She's.
See how you released her? So I won't prematurely correct. I'll wait until I'm absolutely sure that that dog is about to learn.
She's in avoidance.
Yeah.
She can feel it. So look at her body language. She said, I don't even want to look at you.
But at the same time, I'm not holding it. See how now he's taking it with me? I'm not doing anything. He's making all the decisions. So what's happening here is that I like to call this, sit, for me personally, sit. I call this the illusion of free will. You know what that means?
Did Ron just pop off there?
No, this is one of the older ones. Call this the illusion of free will. And this is something that my good friend Danny Wells taught me, which is that if you can get a dog to believe that they're making the decisions over you making decisions for the dog will comply much quicker. My girlfriend does that shit to me every day. She makes me think that it's my idea all the time, man. And then she got a Harley.
So what about you walking him past
Sure.
the dog? That's my problem when I walk him.
It's actually much easier because we have all four legs engaged this way. So the other situation is actually a far more tense situation than the seated position. Or the seated position is a far more tense situation than the walking position. Because in this situation, we give him something to focus on, which is staying at my heel, as opposed to letting him drag. Remember, the key to leash reactivity elimination is not to punish the reactivity, but to give the dog something else to do. Keep the dog in the heel. Here, we'll do close. Okay. Didn't even care. Didn't even care. Again? Does not give a shit. Again?
This is one of the things, like for us, for like or class, like group class, board and trains, private sessions. A lot of people struggle with just walking their dog, and they can't even walk the dog around the neighborhood. They can't walk their dog around their condo complex, apartment complex, because the dog is acting like a complete nut. What factors into that? Everything, the formula that we're showing you today has a role in that. Or to get the dog sleeping in the bed, the couch, and they're coming out of the crate property.
And that vocalization that we heard earlier was
Or they're coming to you when called, or
it had nothing to do with pain. The little yelp that we heard, it was, well, I don't want it.
All of that plays
It's
a
not
role.
pain, it's a bratty cry.
I got a question. What's up? So,
Look,
showing
he's
this
engaging in affection.
two dogs,
He's
one
engaging
not
in affection
reactive,
with
one
you.
reactive.
So he's going,
So now you're walking down the
thanks,
street, you
bud.
have two reactive dogs.
Yep.
So now it changes. The whole
It changes,
dynamic.
yep. So, who has a dog that reacts? Hunter. Let's bring Hunter.
Yep.
Yep. You want to hold that for me?
I love him. He's a good dog. And it's hard
Yep.
to get it across to some
So I know this happens to a lot of people, that's why I brought it up.
Still need to be correct. You know, it's like, well,
So the reason why we do it with
the
the
5% is when you're here. So we have to figure out
He's so
the
big, I know he has to
Royal
be
Collie
trained
plant
well.
sessions,
He
we
can
Protect himself
we
very
want
well.
to set the
What
dogs
the fuck
up
you go to
for
yourself? I've
success.
seen it before. Like,
So we put them in front of a role model. So they'll see a role model dog, say, oh, here we go. But now we have a dog that
Now he's a
is
lead bug.
struggling still a little bit. I mean, he's gone through a program, but he's still struggling.
He's still being treated. We gotta take him back.
Good.
The heartworm, yeah.
Alright, I'm gonna.
Hunter's a reactive dog. Cool. See.
Little bit that now you're seeing this here.
Yeah.
Him loading up because he knows that this guy's different.
Hey. Oh, nope.
Alright, so I'm gonna come back around. I have a feeling he's gonna act up a little bit as I come back around. No, I want to stay here, David. I'm gonna try to get over to you. Alright. Good. Much?
See, so I won't correct there. Even though he's starting to get aroused, I don't want consistent arousal to just get completely demolished in him. I want him to be able to enjoy his life and to check things out with curiosity too. There we go. Good.
Good. This was a guy that we were working on our socials too. Big badass on the leash. Big badass on the field. Scared little dog, but his tail between his legs once he's in the pack, meeting my pack. So that's when you have like Cesar Millan's pack, you get this big badass dog and all of a sudden he goes into a pack of 100 dogs. He's like, oh yeah, I'm not gonna do any of this. And he learns real quick that how to re-socialize in his mind. That acting out is a bad thing.
You want me to walk by here?
Yes. Good job. So before coming to our class and stuff, this was not possible with Hunter. I assure you. He was not doing this. He was acting a lot worse. Alright? Is he perfect yet? No. Not every dog is perfect either. I mean, when Scarlett, well, he's going to hand earlier today, so good job, dude. Does we have anybody else? I mean, I can't. He did perfect.
There's two reactive dogs right there who weren't reactive.
Good job doing the homework.
Yeah, it's paying off.
Good job.
Yeah,
See how much
we'll get a couple dogs. Yeah, we'll get a couple dogs in here.
At least it's not taking the attention.
So we're gonna have a couple dogs.
What we're gonna do is just do a circle right around the tree.
Just gonna be walking around in a circle. So if you watch, I personally trained with them, Jason Visconti, Chad Mackin, Heather Beck. You'll see these large field socials that they've done. They do 150, 200 dogs and they're walking in a circle like this. There's actually a movie on Amazon, I believe it's free, called The Dog Man. It's by Dick Russell. He's no longer alive, so I just ruined the end of the movie for you. But it's called The Dog Man. He was just an old school dog trainer from Louisiana who would just do dog training classes for free in groups of 100 to 200 dogs and just let them loose out in the field and say, let them work it out. That's what, it's very old school. But they would do these large socials. This is something that we're working on. He's loading up there. This is something we're working on doing in WinGap. Because the movement and walking around in a circle is key. Walking around at period, and we can change it up and go in different directions. But it starts to normalize this for the dog as this is normal. Oh, I'm not walking.
She will
Regardless of what's going on.
She will often go off when she meets another dog.
Well, you should never do leash greeting anyway.
What?
You should never do a leash greeting. Never.
Wherever I'm walking.
What's that?
Yes.
Wherever I'm walking, oncoming the dog.
Yeah. So like, you should never stop and do a leash greeting with another
Okay,
dog.
so keep going.
Always keep going. Anthony, this is something that we haven't even talked about. Don't do leash greetings.
Ever.
Period. Like, ever. It's the dumbest thing in the world. You've taken flight away from the dog. The dog will fight. Don't do it. That's how you develop leash reactivity really, really quickly. Oh, so this is the foster protocol that I always implement. The dogs don't have to meet to work. That's the thing. The protocol will get the dogs to, the dogs will get, if you just throw two dogs in the backyard and go, no, he's on this dog's territory, bullshit, that dog's on my territory, both of them. So if they start to make decisions under my watch, it's bullshit, because they're establishing hierarchy underneath you. That's crazy to me. So what I do, a 2-week decompression protocol, crated next to each other, slow integration into my pack. Anthony?
Yes, I've done thousands and thousands and thousands.
Steve, what do you think?
And thousands and
I agree.
thousands of
I
meet and greets.
The biggest thing
None
I
of them
hear.
are done on
Wait till
leash.
Anthony's done talking.
With her, I didn't bring my dogs to meet her before she came to be fostered in my home. We didn't know if she was dog friendly or not. We seen her in a play area for a few seconds with other dogs. Tail was straight up in the air.
Right there's a sign, though.
Right. So when I brought her into my home to foster her, she was. She got decomp time, big time. She got to acclimate to everything, right on up to the routine of everybody being in and out and everything before I actually introduced her to one dog.
Yeah.
And they're best friends. And I tried to tell this one couple that, and just totally, they brought the dog with them. Like, it's
Throwing two dogs who don't know each other into a situation, expecting them to be friends, is one of the dumbest things in the entire world. And we've all done it. And we've all done it because we expect dogs to love each other. But that's unreasonable. So when I was studying wolves, we took 6 wolf packs in Yosemite, and you put GPS collars on all of them. 6 different colors. They never intersected. Why? Because they try to kill each other. Like, it's one of the, that's why dog parks are such a stupid idea.
It's the worst idea.
It's K911.
Nobody ever cleans the dog park, so just keep that in mind. The township does not clean the dog park ever. So you got all types of diseases, there's no requirements for any shot records or anything, no one's checking that stuff. The only thing that cleans the dog park is rain. That's it. So just keep that in mind. There's only been a couple of dog parks that were nice that I liked. One was out in California, one was in St. Louis. You had to be a membership, and it had football turf out there, and you had to pay stuff. You had to have your dog evaluated. That stuff doesn't exist around here. So dog parks are a horrible idea. The other thing is that we're forcing dogs to meet on the leash, which is unnatural. This dog already knows that dog by smell. This dog knows that dog by smell already from here. So we're taking dogs and forcefully saying, hey, I want to forcefully make you hug and kiss this other dog right now. If I did that to any of you, if I took Jonas,
I'm okay with it.
And brought him over,
You have consent right now. Don't put your tongue in my mouth. Let's go. Sniff my ass. Let's go, buddy.
My kids, imagine your kids there, and I say, hey, AJ, go over here and make out with this little girl. It's the weirdest thing I've ever heard.
That's it.
So we're like making dogs do that is unnatural. So people always say that to me. Could my dog meet your dog? And I say no. I don't care. But they're the sweetest dogs. When we're doing seminars, like at Paw Prints on the Canal or any of these seminars, there's dog fights breaking out everywhere. Because a puppy almost got killed by a bunch of huskies. You know why? Because they were letting this little puppy meet these huskies on leash. They were all pulling it out of control. Like, nobody should be letting dogs meet on leash. And all the evaluations that we do here at our dog daycare are done off leash. Thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands. We've probably done between 10 and 20,000 evaluations since 2006, and none of them are on leash.
The next time she's got to meet and they say to me that they want to meet dogs, we say no because Anthony said no.
No dog on leash. That's it. And for her, I would like to see her in action with a pack of our dogs. Let her come in and see 15 dogs all at once, off leash, she'll probably run away. I swear. Milo came out, their dog, big man on leash, barking, wanted to kill all the dogs in the crate. Let him out, we're going to see my dogs, ran away, hiding like a little coward.
So, if you don't mind, I just want to backtrack a minute. Jonas started to bring up a good point. 2-week decompression, it means 2 weeks.
Yes.
Give the dog a chance to adjust.
Not 2 hours.
Because there's a lot of dogs that go one night and they come back. because they put them right in with their dog, right in with their kids, everything.
Minimum.
One night.
Minimum.
Right.
Minimum.
Yeah,
This
Minimum.
guy got a month and a half.
Yeah.
Freight and road trip thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is such a true thing, and most of the rescues and shelters we work with, they sit there and they have this conversation with them. The Center for Animal Health and Welfare, I know does. That's why our return rate is less than 8%. It's because of these conversations.
Does that go for puppies too? Say like Thor's a little older, a little more than a year. If we get a puppy in like the next 6 months, a year, do you still separate?
No, you would crate next to each other.
For 2 weeks.
Absolutely.
Minimum.
Minimum.
Yeah. And I would, and to be honest, I would want most of these things worked out before bringing another dog.
Nailed it.
So,
Yeah.
you kind of want your dogs to be pretty stable-minded.
Right.
And then what happens is we get a dog that's out of control, and then they get another dog, and now they got 2 dogs that are out of control. So it's like, they will learn from each other. But what makes life easier when you get that puppy, potty training is going to be easier because that little puppy's going to follow them right outside and go to the bathroom.
And stimulation through urine, all that stuff.
All that stuff.
The good and the bad.
Their command is going to be so much easier. You're going to say come, that little puppy's going to come.
They do teach each other.
Yeah, it's amazing how much dogs learn from dogs. You never forget that. So
As a rescue, we always have people who want their dogs to meet the potential adoptive dog. What's the best way to handle that?
I like going on a neutral ground, and I have to see how the other dog is on a leash. Now, if not saying she's doing it, but if she's
She was nice. I had her on the
so I would say this is not a good time for her to meet the dog. I would actually take her and run her for like 5 miles, get all of her energy out of her. Now let's let her meet the dog. Now usually a tired dog is not going to go into fight mode. They have no energy in them to do it.
Pack walk's a really good idea there. Sorry to cut you off, but so what we just did was with my company. So we had a Mal mix and a Great Pyre mix. Both were assessed by veterinary behaviorists to be euthanized because they're a danger to the dog world. Both dogs came to us for rehabilitation. They were crated next to each other for 6 weeks. They're sleeping on the same fucking bed now. And they said that these dogs need to be euthanized. There's no reason, and as a rescue, and this is the hard part to tell the doctors, right? But the thing is that like, you have to eventually get the balls, or the guts, or the breasts, or the labias, whatever you want to say, to just say, there's no need. The dog should get along with your dog as long as you follow a proper protocol. And that is the end of it. Because we're crutching on the dogs to make the decisions and go, well, fine, this dog's an asshole. No, you're the asshole because you're not doing it right. Sorry.
No, because we do meets all the time, but we have people, even with little puppies. Oh, my dog has to meet the dog.
No.
Why?
No.
Why? Because my dog has to accept the dog.
And who are we living around psychologically then? The dog is leading everything.
But that's the thing, in my house, people are like, how do you have so many dogs? I have 13 dogs that are sometimes fostered in my house. It's my fucking house with my fucking rules, and this is the end of the story.
Right.
That's it. You guys are ever seen, like, you adopted him, he wasn't accepting at very first,
We have to share that we have 13 dogs at a time in our house sometimes. I have a pool house, and if we have mom and me,
yes,
there's
sometimes you have
13 dogs chilling in my house.
But right now we have 8 with the little puppy. But it's my house, my freaking rules.
She has a question?
Yes.
It was nice meeting all of you. I'm going to take
Hey Steve,
We put in an application for those dogs.
isn't it amazing? Like at the end of this is the way it always is at the end of my leash process too, right? All the dogs in the dog. No one was told to be in a dog. Everyone's just sleeping.
And
Like no one's even
worried
noticed
about
that.
how the little one.
But if you just look, all the dogs are completely chill. People are like, oh, this is the dog that'll help with me, right? It's like, no. But again, look at you there.
So the thing is, like,
sleep. Leashes before marriage.
Until they get to like the we don't require dog parks like that's it. That's we have to meet because the doctors are insisting.
I would walk them over the dog park. Meaning I would give them a 45 minute walk.
Socialize them.
So there's a concept called over socialization. A proper socialized dog is socialized in a structured environment. Even in a park, they don't just throw the dog out. It's always in a structured manner. So in this type of situation, we tend to look at the dog as to have a social life, which is very important. The dog is fine in a non-stressed state in the house, getting walks with you. Much better because you may be cultivating leash relationships at the dog park because of what the experiences that he's having. Dogs might not be positive, even though it looks like it's positive. So it's one of those things where like this behavior is being cultivated there, which is very well. Probably the adjective to behavior, honestly, focus more on your relationship with the dog as opposed to letting the dog have fun. The dog wants structure. The dog wants to do especially this guy. I mean, he went from trying to ball the Rottweiler off of the play spot. It's a beautiful thing. He's a big calm boy. Most people do. Most people
like another dog was going on, so I was like, okay, out in the public, you know, yeah.
But like, here's the thing. Some dogs might not find it necessarily rewarding to have dogs come up and put their faces in their face. So with a big boy like that, he's like, no, dogs make me feel uncomfortable. He's gonna say no. That's probably what we have here. Socialization, great, but it has to be structured. Over socialization, it's the same thing. They do it all the time from clients. My dog was touched by 50 people a week over and over and over. Yeah, the dog hated it. That's what the dog's people react to that. So it's one of those things where we just have to learn to advocate for our dogs. And the information is just not out there readily available. Which is why we make it free, right? We're like, come here, learn the right way. Let us be successful people in the industries, give something back to you guys, so you guys can get this free information and really understand that your dog is a dog. And that all these like human, we go to the dog park for ourselves and think about it. We go there, I want my dog to have a social life. It's for you to feel good. But the dog is stressed out. It might look like they're having fun. But as soon as that dog comes into the equation, that she's not having that much fun.
I wouldn't mind doing like the breed at Wingate.
He likes this.
You know, rain.
Calm, relaxed state. That's the state that I like. Personally, for me. Like sitting at home on the couch.
Rather be outside.
Yeah.
All the time.
Yeah.
They'll just go out on a porch, we have a street, you know, a porch where you just let them out on. And it'll be colder.
Yeah.
And they'll just go out there, we have a shade. You lay there on the bed, just chill.
Take them for walks.
I think everyone's heading out.
Here's the other topic that we should probably talk about, and they just brought this up: over socialization.
Oh yeah,
like over social. So just really quick, guys.
Yeah, hit that up.
Just real quick before we call it. Something especially for rescue people. We just brought up a really interesting topic over here, which is the topic of socialization. Socialization, in the way that we're used to it standardly through a Google search, is bullshit. Is bullshit. The way that you should socialize your dog is in a structured format. I do not socialize my personal dog with other dogs while they're growing up. I've never had an issue with my dogs on another dog. Why? Because they take the lead from me. I advocate for my dog. So what we get is, what is it? Gus the Border Collie. He was one of my favorite cases. I walked in, he tried to clamp onto my bicep, like immediately. They were like, we had 50 people a week touch him. Well, that's the problem.
Yeah.
50 people a week touched that dog and he thought it was uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So now every time people come over, that guy is like, fuck, they're gonna get into my face, they're gonna do this stupid face thing, and I hate it. So like, and sure as shit,
not every dog likes that face thing.
And
it's very rare that they do.
That the over socialized The over-socialization where we just hand our puppy off is what Zach George does. Here, do this, do that. That dog's not getting better. I'm watching his series.
It's been him, it's been his wife.
Yeah, there's 2 dog trainers that I watch right now just to see the progress we're making. Zach George and the guy that found Bigfoot.
Peter King.
Yeah, but
What's the other one?
Yeah.
All faster than still.
Yeah, Peter King found Bigfoot, it's frozen, and he's eating them.
it's so good. Everything needs to be structured though in regards to socialization. And the reason why that is because dogs in a dog pack don't not have structure. It's so apparent that we're so anthropomorphic and that we want the dog park, for instance, for ourselves. We get a social life through the dog park. Oh, I'm with dog people. Yeah. Guess what? 90% of them are still assholes. It doesn't matter if they're dog people.
Most of the time, they get, and I've heard horror stories at the dog park where, like, the dog was humping their dog, and he just like said, "Hey, get off my dog." Next thing you know, they got into a fist fight.
Yeah.
And, oh, my dog's not is allowed to hump your dog. No, your dog is what?
They're just being dogs. Let them figure it out.
Hey guys, before we end this, I like to get we'll come over here towards you guys and try to get a group photo.
Yeah.
If that's cool. Alright. If you want to come on in, no pressure. If anybody doesn't want to get in the photo, that's fine. But just to spread the word that we're helping dogs. That's what we do. This is what we save the dog.
Good dog.
I'm gonna get Scott out now.
Oh, look.